Do you own your traffic? That's a question you should probably ask yourself, just because there's two types of traffic in the world. And if you're a business and you rely on people buying your goods or services, you should probably ask yourself that question. Because if people don't see your goods or services, they really can't buy them. In this world, there's two types of traffic, especially on the online space. If you want to go brick and mortar, that's a conversation for a different day. We're not doing that. We're just talking about if you're an online business. And there is owned traffic. And this is your email list. This is your phone list. This is your Rolodex of contacts you have, hopefully stored on a computer somewhere, because let's face it, Rolodex is not going to cut it. That's great because you can hit that list whenever you want. You own that. You control that list as long as you play by all of these really fun marketing laws that come out about email marketing, text message marketing, all of those really fun stuff. So be compliant, but you own that list. And there's a lot of power in that. There's a lot of ways you can develop these lists as well. One of the most popular ways is having a freebie or some format where you give people away or get them to opt in before giving them value and solving a problem that they have to get their email, and then you can email market to them. The other way that's super popular right now is doing that same format, but I'm just going to go into the specific tactic because I feel super generous today and want to help you build a massive email list. So if you're getting tons of views on Instagram, this is totally for you. If not, I just skip to the next part of the video. But if you want to grow on Instagram, watch this anyways. But you're going to use this tool called ManyChat. You're going to use a CTA in your description on your reels or posts, and ideally the one-liner at the end because people read in an F-shaped pattern. And you're going to tell people to comment XYZ word to get XYZ thing. Now, if you do this correctly, theoretically, you can get thousands of comments, and you've probably seen this before on other people's posts of people commenting that keyword. Now, just going over some of the data for this, an optimal click-through rate for that type of campaign is 40%. So you want people to click through 40% of the time. And then what we found is of those people who click through, or roughly of the amount of comments you get, you can get up to 50% of people to actually opt in to your email list and to get whatever freebie it is. But to make that work, you want to, number one, make sure that the video is actually related to whatever you do for your business. Number two is you want to make sure the freebie is also related to that video and what you do for your business and solves a problem that your ideal target customer actually faces. Because if those aren't aligned, there is no reason for them to give you their personal information for you to send email marketing emails to their inbox until they die. That is owned traffic. It's extremely powerful. It is the secret to scaling your business. But to get started, oftentimes we don't have a list. So one of the best ways to get started building your business is with what is called earned traffic. Now, earned traffic is when you post a piece of content on the internet, like a TikTok video, and people like it so much that the algorithm continues to promote it. Now, this works, and most algorithms are trained on this one simple concept of keeping people on the platform. So when you hear people talking about it's your watch time, it's your watch time, it's your watch time, that is what they're referring to. And the reason for this is because the longer you stay on the platform, the more ads they can serve you. And that's going to be our third type of traffic we're going to talk about here in just a little bit. But focusing on earned traffic, if you can get people to watch your content organically, because the algorithm will recommend it to people who it thinks will watch your content, because again, it wants people to stay on the platform. But to make this work is you need to make sure your content is niche. Now, for example, almost everything on this YouTube channel that I talk about is related to helping you grow your business. And if you haven't, you probably want to subscribe to this channel because I'm going to continue doing that every single day. But as I niche into business and specifically more marketing, sales, offer development, data, and online businesses, it is going to go to a more targeted audience. And another great example, if you want another one besides my channel, is you can look at someone like Alex Hormozi, who went super broad, giving lifestyle advice, talking about lifting. And guess what? His views went up. But what happened is his clicks went down because people who want to get super jacked, right? They don't care because they don't want to grow a business. They just want to get jacked. But people who want to grow a business, they usually don't care about getting jacked. Now, there might be some overlap there, of course, with any audiences. And you can really see that with influencers like Nick Barrett and even Alex Hormozi, people who really like to work out, who take personal fitness and really make it part of who they are and what their brand is and represents and stands for. That can be good. But when you don't do that normally and you're like, okay, this is how you get massive delts, right? It doesn't help me grow my business. I'm not going to watch that video. And you can see he's pivoted back into straight teaching business content. And guess what? His views went down because less people are interested in that. Overall, more people want to look jacked than want to own businesses and want to do hard things, right? But guess what? His clicks, his conversions, his sales, his acquisitions, they've gone up. And you can look at this with multiple influencers and you can watch them and watch what types of content they create. If you look at real estate influencers, the best ones, they focus just on real estate. If you look at real estate people, for example, agents, the best ones focus on listings and targeting, number one, what their customers want, and number two, what other brokers that are agents that they do business with, what they also want. Because what happens is, okay, if you start talking about investing, if you also start talking about mortgages, if you also start talking about flipping, then you have like 3, 4, 5, 6 different groups of people that you're trying to target to, and it's not very niche, and the algorithm doesn't know who to actually give your content to, because not one group is overly interested in watching your content because they never know what they're going to get. And let's be real, people who do flips probably don't want to watch a walkthrough house tour, and people who write mortgages probably don't want to look at a flip. They're more interested in the numbers, right? So it really depends on who it is. So if you can get niche down to a certain degree with your content, you don't want to over niche, because I also view that as a massive problem. But if you can be specific and targeted with your content, you're going to make sales and you're going to continue to get people to view your content. The next thing I really want to focus in on here, as far as earned traffic goes, is it needs to be omni-channel, and you need to watch your analytics on every single channel. I know it's hard. Even if it's just an Excel sheet and writing down your monthly totals, you need to do it, because at certain times, there's going to be opportunities. There are mini recessions on every single platform. And when those mini recessions happen, when people producing content stop producing content, but viewership goes up or stays the same, that creates an imbalance. And you have an opportunity to go rake it in big, to get more followers, to get more views, to grow your earned list by having it free because you're getting more traffic. And you don't know this. Like, you can follow Gary Vee and he'll tell you, oh, LinkedIn or Snapchat or TikTok or Threads is really underrated right now, or really overrated. But guess what? By the time he says that, it's already mainstream. It's too late. You have to, in order to be a successful business owner, if you want to scale to 6 to 7, 8 figures and beyond, you have to have your own internal data tracking. You just can't listen to influencers. That doesn't work. At least have a spreadsheet where you track your numbers and you're getting, okay, this is going down, this is going up. Is it because we changed the type of content we're posting? Is it because we changed the topics we're posting about? All these different things are going to play into how your earned traffic performs. And the more you actually track and watch those things, the better content you can theoretically make, the more views you can get, the more conversions you can have. And the reason why I really hone in on the data tracking aspect of it is because with owned traffic and with paid traffic, what we're going to cover, both of those, everyone always talks about the data. Everyone always talks about what the open rates are, what the click rates are. Everyone always tracks that. And with paid, it makes sense because there's a lot of money behind it. You're leveraging capital and you better be getting a return on it. Otherwise, you're not going to be in business. And with owned traffic, everyone wants to know how well their list is performing, because usually if they own a big list, an email list, or have a lot of text numbers, or have a large community, they usually get a lot of revenue from it, or perhaps a majority of their business revenue. But no one tends to focus on those analytic numbers when it comes to organic traffic. And that's why I can't focus in on this enough, because it's going to make you the most money. The boring data tracking stuff is going to make you the most money, period. I hate to break it to you. That's the really annoying thing about being an entrepreneur, is sometimes the boring data is what's going to make you rich. The last type of traffic that I want to talk about today is paid traffic. This is where you run a Facebook ad, Instagram ad, Snapchat ad, ads wherever. You could buy a billboard if you want to, but you're paying to get access to a certain amount of eyeballs on whatever your goods and services are. And there's a lot of different ways you can run this to get people into your funnel. You can do, I don't know what they call them, zero loss opt-in funnels, where you essentially just break even, but you get all these contacts on a low offer funnels. Like, people pay $7, but it costs you $7 to get the customer. But hey, guess what? You broke even. But guess what? Now your sales rep can reach out and sell them on a higher ticket item, because guess what? They're a buyer of your products and services, and you have their contact information now, and they're already committed to you, and they already received value. And guess what? When they buy a $7 product and they get like $300 of value, guess what? They're pretty pumped, and they're going to associate that with the rest of your brand. And it's like, okay, well, if I paid $7 and got $300 of value, and you want me to buy your 5K course, so you're telling me I'm going to get tens, maybe hundreds of thousands of dollars of value from this? Yeah, sign me up. It's a lot easier sell when you've already delivered them a product and over-delivered on it based off of price, when you've exceeded their expectations. The other thing I really want to focus in with paid traffic is you got to track your data. You track your customer acquisition costs. You got to track your ROAS, track your cost per click, cost per opt-in. These are all things that are really valuable. And there's a lot of different ways. Like, you can run the webinar funnel. There's a lot of different funnels. I could go on for hours about all these different funnels I've studied, but They're all things I've studied. We're on a mission here at Laney Media to scale to 8 figures using just organic content and converting that either into owned or just like scaling with organic. And eventually we'll run paid ads. I want to run paid ads just to learn to, because we do have clients on occasion that do run paid ads and I want to be able to help them perform better. So eventually I am going to do that. But right now we found we really don't need to, because if you're doing a good enough job with your earned traffic and your owned traffic, you really don't need to pay. Paying can give you consistency, and there's reasons why you do want to pay, but oftentimes it's not necessary to grow or scale your business. And paid traffic can be phenomenal depending on where you're at in your business and what you want to do, what your goals are, and what you want to achieve. Again, you have to determine that to determine if you really want to spend money on ads. Because again, you're leveraging capital to theoretically get more capital, but there is a bigger risk in it. With organic content, instead of spending money, you're spending your own time. That's something you can never get back. And with owned traffic, you're spending your audience's attention, which is also something that can come back over time, but you can also ruin it if you overuse it. So with each type of traffic that you have to nurture it. You have to be on top of it. You have to analyze your own situation and you have to apply it accordingly. Otherwise, you're just going to end up getting burned every single time. Doesn't matter with what type of traffic you have, you can and will mess it up if you are not a good steward of your communities, of your capital, and of your resources.